In today's video, we're going to talk all about a major free-to-play game finally being confirmed for PlayStation 4. We knew it was coming to the PlayStation 4, but now we have a release date for Dauntless, and it's a game you guys should definitely have your eyes on, as it looks to be one of the more compelling upcoming free-to-play offerings that's coming to the PlayStation 4. Outside of that, there's a lot of rumblings that From Software's next project is going to be revealed at E3 2019. I don't think it's going to be a Bloodborne 2, given that the title is said to be a multi-platform game, but I'll give you guys some speculation on what it could be. And lastly, the reviews for A Plague Tale Innocence have been posted, and they are looking incredibly positive, both from the Metascore as well as the user score. People are really digging the game, so I'll go over what the critics said at the end of this video. But first up, let's talk all about Dauntless, because it has been confirmed that Dauntless will be hitting the PlayStation 4 on May 21st. This has been one of the long-anticipated and highly anticipated free-to-play games that is coming to the PlayStation 4. It's been an open beta on PC for quite a while, going back to May of last year, and this game has a long story attached to it. Initially, when it was announced, there was a lot of anticipation and hype surrounding Dauntless, but given the style of game that it is, a lot of that dissipated when Capcom officially announced that they were working on Monster Hunter World. They announced that game, and then they got MH World out rather quickly, and given that Dauntless was a very similar style, even though it's a free-to-play game versus MH World being a $60 game, Dauntless just lost a lot of anticipation. I remember in that 6-month window from the announcement of Monster Hunter World up until the release of Monster Hunter World, and even past that, Dauntless just consistently lost a lot of luster to a lot of people, and that was very disappointing because I still found the game to be rather interesting. And also, given the fact that it is a free-to-play game, it's going to be accessible to everyone versus a game that did have a $60 entry point, and Dauntless definitely does have its own style to it as well. The game itself takes place in a fantasy setting. A cataclysmic event has torn the world apart, releasing monstrous creatures known as behemoths that prey on the surviving humans. Players take on the role of the slayers to take down behemoths. You guys can probably understand where the gameplay is going, given that I said that there's a lot of comparisons to be made with Monster Hunter, but as you defeat these behemoths, you'll collect loot, and using your loot, you're gonna craft and upgrade weapons and equipment as to take down even larger and more powerful behemoths, and you'll scale up that way. The game plays as a third-person game. You can use a combo system to attack the creature while monitoring your own health and stamina gauge, and there's a variety of different hunts and a lot of content to the game as well. Now, obviously, being a free-to-play title, there are microtransactions, but if you want to play the game as a free experience, you can do that as well. And the game looks very good from a visual standpoint. It's running on Unreal Engine 4, and artistically, I think this is one of the better looking free-to-play games that we've seen. And I'm very excited to see Dauntless finally make its way to the PlayStation 4. Is it too little too late? Has Monster Hunter World already captivated people to the point where they're not going to give Dauntless a chance? I don't think that's necessarily the case. Again, given that this is a free-to-play game, and given that there's enough room in the market for both games to coexist and both games to be rather successful. And when you look at Dauntless at a face value, I feel like this is a game that could be really catered towards console players. Yes, it's been out on PC quite a while, but I think when it makes the transition to the PlayStation 4, when people see it on the PlayStation Store and people see it being promoted, I think they'll inherently have some interest, and that inherent interest will probably lead them to a direct download, given that the game is free to play. So I can see the game having a lot of success that way. For you monster hunting buffs out there, this is going to be a big year, not only with the release of Dauntless on May 21st, and keep in mind that this is a game that's going to be updated throughout the year, but of course Monster Hunter World will also be getting its major expansion in Iceborne on September 6th. A lot to delve into on that realm. That means a lot of content and a lot of hours can be sunk in as well. In the case of Dauntless, I'm excited to see what it can offer on the PlayStation 4, and also, this is going to make the free-to-play library on the PlayStation 4 have even more depth than it already has. Going into this generation, the last thing I thought was free-to-play being one of the big driving factors on the PlayStation 4, but you look at the free-to-play offerings now, you go from Fortnite, Apex Legends, Path of Exiles, Warframe, and now we've got Dauntless too, and there are so many other games in that category as well. And what you see is not only do you have Battle Royale games, you have games across all genres, and Dauntless is going to add to that depth again, and it's dropping May 21st. We'll be talking a lot more about this game as we get closer to the release, but very excited for Phoenix Labs to put this out on the PlayStation 4 on May 21st. Alright, moving on from that, we've got some very exciting news from From Software. However, take this as a rumor, as it is making the rounds on Reddit and various social media threads. But according to a rumor that was shared on Reddit, From Software's next game will be multi-platform, and it will be revealed at E3 2019. It's not going to be a Bloodborne sequel, given that Sony owns that IP, and if a game is multi-platform, unless Microsoft works something out, Bloodborne would be a PlayStation exclusive. But From Software working on a brand new title that has me very, very excited. From Software, I think, has now taken their rightful position as one of the top studios in the world. I don't know if people are going to take to them as the best development studio in the world today, but you could definitely make an argument And some of the noted elements were that, again, the game is multi-platform, it's a dark fantasy action RPG, it isn't Bloodborne but multi-plat, it isn't Armored Core, so that's a little bit of a bummer for me. I want to see the return of Armored Core. I know a lot of you guys aren't into Armored Core as much as I am. Man, as far as mech games go, the Armored Core games were some of the better ones that I've seen, and I would like to see that make a comeback considering we don't get a lot of great mech games, so hopefully sooner rather than later that comes as well. The game is also set to have swords or lasers or both. The game will be even more exciting for veterans of the Souls title, so maybe it'll build upon the successes of the Souls games in that sense. I imagine that this will be more of a big budget game rather than some small spin-off title that they worked on like Dracine, because right now they are diversifying their portfolio quite a bit, but this seems to be one of their bigger experiences that they are working on. And again, it isn't Bloodborne 2. Bloodborne 2 is said to not even be in development, which I find to be a head scratcher. I don't know if I completely believe that. They've got to make Bloodborne 2 happen at some point. That is a license to print money. Did you see how successful Bloodborne 1 was? It would be a travesty if Bloodborne 2 was never created. Hopefully we hear more at E3, and I've been saying, I know some of you guys aren't as excited for E3 as in prior years considering Sony isn't going to be there. Sony was there at E3 last year, but they had a relatively quiet conference where they only highlighted a couple games, but you still look at all the other third-party publishers and developers that are going to be there, except some incredibly exciting PlayStation 4 game announcements. Sure, we might not get a lot of exclusives announced, but great games coming to the PlayStation 4 are nonetheless great games coming to the PlayStation 4, and you can definitely be excited for that, and a new From Software game, that's definitely going to get people talking. Alright, and lastly, I do want to go over the critical reception for A Plague Tale Innocence. It is super positive, all things considered. Currently, it is sitting on a 79 on Metacritic, so we were talking about the Plague Tale versus Rage 2 battle as both of those games were coming out today, and in actuality, over on Metacritic, A Plague Tale Innocence does have the higher Metascore. I believe Rage 2 is currently sitting at a 72 or 73, so A Plague Tale Innocence beat it out by quite a bit, and the reviews are coming in relatively positively, and as I'm recording this video, I literally just refreshed the page, and A Plague Tale Innocence got bumped up to an 80 on Metascore, so the review score is going to fluctuate a little bit, the Metascore that is, but I do want to note what some of the critics are saying. IGN gave the game a 7 out of 10, saying A Plague Tale Innocence has a great story, but gameplay has a level of convenience that undercuts the perilous world. So you do have this dark world, but maybe the gameplay is a little bit on the easy side. Easy Allies gave the game an 8 out of 10, saying A Plague Tale Innocence is a morbid adventure. The engaging mystery is highlighted by an endearing cast of characters and their ever-growing trust in one another. Combat and puzzles rarely push back, but they make it easier to engage with the memorable narrative. Through it all, the omnipresent scourge of rats leaves a lingering impact as their shrouded forms slowly work their way through the corners of your mind and settle deeply into your bones. So if you're looking for a dark and atmosphere-driven game, I really think that's what you're gonna find in A Plague Tale Innocence. Don't expect some revolutionizing gameplay, but as far as the narrative, character development, I think A Plague Tale Innocence in those regards is going to be incredibly strong. GameSpace gave the game a 9.5 out of 10, saying Asabo Studio brings together a culmination of stunningly beautiful art, hauntingly lovely music, and a wonderfully crafted, heart-wrenching story of a young girl and her brother as they live through the eradication of their family and become targets of the Inquisition during a plague-ridden time period. A Plague Tale Innocence is not a game you will soon forget or want to pass by. So if you guys had a little bit of skepticism with A Plague Tale Innocence, but you had a modicum of interest in it as well, I think the reviews are really going to push a lot of people over the edge in buying the game. That's what I was waiting on, because Asabo Studio isn't known for these big budget games, these very compelling games. They worked on a lot of smaller titles, but as I noted, Focus Home Interactive is low-key becoming one of the more compelling publishers in all of gaming. Do they churn out super successful game after super successful game? No, but you look at games like Vampire and now A Plague Tale Innocence, they are putting out a lot of interesting titles and unique games that I think are going to resonate really well with gamers, and we'll see how the Metascore develops a little bit, and we'll see how the general consumer reception is, but right now it's looking very positive for A Plague Tale Innocence. And by the way, the user score on Metacritic is an 8.5 out of 10, so that's very positive as well. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, the free-to-play heavy hitter in Dauntless will be hitting the PlayStation 4 on May 21st. Definitely keep your eyes out on that, and we'll definitely do another video taking an in-depth look on the game because there's so much to digest with Dauntless. From Software's next project is said to be revealed at E3 2019. What could it be? I don't know, but considering it's coming from Software and it looks to be a pretty big budget experience, I think there's a lot to be excited for, not only with that, but E3 in general, and A Plague Tale Innocence is being received very, very well, currently sitting at an 80 on Metacritic. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.